Hello, my name is Hannah Cole. I'm 25 years old. Last summer I came home from a week in Hawaii, ready to crash into my bed. But my bedroom door had a new lock, and hanging on it, a glowing neon sign, Livestream Studio. All my belongings? Shoved into a dusty shed out back. My dad didn't even look at me. He just pointed toward the shed. Stay there or get out of this house. I stood frozen, staring at the life I thought was mine. Completely gone. But that was just the beginning. I always thought money would finally earn me respect in my family. But I was wrong. 2 weeks before everything exploded, I was on top of the world. I had just wrapped a digital content project worth $30,000. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe, like I could finally give something back. So I sat my parents down at our dining table in Grand Rapids. I smiled at Mom, at Dad. I'm booking a trip to Hawaii. Flights, hotel, everything covered. Just the three of us. Mom's face lit up, her eyes wide with excitement. Dad even cracked a rare grin. For one fragile moment, it felt like we were a real family again. But then Mom's smile faltered. She glanced at Dad. It'd be great if your brother could join us. My stomach dropped. Shane, my older brother, the streamer who lived off endless excuses and my money. $8,000 still unpaid. And now somehow I was supposed to fund his dream vacation too? Mom, I said carefully, this is for you and Dad. Shane can pay his own way. The room went silent. Dad's grin vanished. That's unfair, he snapped. Your brother's working hard to build his career. You've got the money. Why can't you help him out? My chest tightened. Help him out? I'd been helping for years. Covering internet bills. Paying for groceries. Even buying his streaming equipment when he swore he'd pay me back. Dad, he owes me $8,000, I said, my voice shaking. I'm not a bank. Mom's hands fidgeted. Hannah, family supports each other. Shane's trying to make it big. You know how hard it is out there. I bit my tongue, but Denise, his wife, didn't. She leaned forward, her voice sweet but sharp. You're doing well, Hannah. A trip for all of us would be a nice gesture. I clenched my fists under the table. Shane didn't even look up from his phone. Chill, Hannah, he muttered. It's just a trip. Just a trip. As if my hard work, my money, my boundaries meant nothing. Dad slammed his hand on the table. Enough. If you're going to be stingy, maybe you shouldn't be planning family trips at all. Stingy. That word cut deeper than I expected. I looked to Mom, desperate for support. But she just stared at her hands. Silent. That night, I booked the Hawaii trip for me and my two best friends. If my parents wanted to come, they'd pay for themselves. But Shane and Denise? Absolutely not. As I clicked confirm on the tickets, I thought the worst was behind me. But I had no idea what waited when I came home. Because this was just the beginning of the real betrayal. I thought booking the trip for myself and my friends was the end of the fight. But I should have known better. When I came back from Hawaii, something felt wrong. Shane's beat-up car and Denise's SUV filled the driveway. Inside, the house was silent. Too silent. I dragged my suitcase to my room. But when I reached the door, my heart stopped. A shiny new lock. And above it, a neon sign, Livestream Studio. I rattled the knob, locked tight. My room, my space was gone. I ran to the shed. Under a sagging tarp, my belongings were dumped in piles. My laptop shoved under cables. My favorite jacket crumpled like trash. Hands shaking, I stormed into the kitchen. Denise sipped coffee, too calm. Oh, Hannah, you're back. Shane needed the space. Your room was perfect. My room? I snapped. You moved me out without asking? She shrugged. You're barely here anyway. We figured you wouldn't mind. Barely here. I'd been paying bills, keeping the house running, while Shane coasted. I found Mom folding laundry. Why is Shane in my room? I asked. She avoided my eyes. His career is taking off. He needed the setup. We thought you'd understand. Understand? They'd taken everything I had built and handed it to him. Dad lowered his newspaper, his voice cold. Your brother's career is important. You've got your job. You don't need that room as much. I snapped. I've been paying the bills for years. What about me? Mom's voice was soft. Hannah, we're a family. We make sacrifices for each other. Always my sacrifices. Never Shane's. Denise smirked in the doorway. The shed's fine, it's just temporary. Dad stood, face hard. You've got two options. Stay in the shed, or get out. The words hit me like a punch. My own father choosing Shane over me. I looked at Mom. She stared at the floor, silent. Something broke inside me. I grabbed a duffel bag, packed what I could, and left. Not one person stopped me. Not even Shane, streaming in the room that used to be mine. At Corey's apartment, I told him everything. How Denise dismissed me. How Mom stayed quiet. How Dad forced the choice. That's messed up, Corey said. You don't deserve that. For the first time that day, I felt seen. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't selfish. I was betrayed. As I lay on his air mattress that night, the truth hit me. Leaving wasn't running away. It was breaking free from years of being overlooked. For once, I was choosing myself. But I had no idea how far my family was willing to go, and the price they'd pay for always putting Shane first. Nearly a year passed after I walked out of that house. In my new apartment downtown, I rebuilt myself. Work was thriving. Corey and Vance kept me grounded. For the first time, I felt free. Then my phone lit up. 60 missed calls. A voicemail from Mom. Her voice shook. "Hannah, please call me back. We're in trouble. Shane needs you." Shane. Even now, it was always about Shane. I ignored it at first. But the messages kept coming. Finally, I called her back. She answered on the first ring. "Hannah, thank God. Shane's in deep trouble. He lost his big sponsorship and," her words tumbled out, "he was gambling online. Thousands of dollars. The sponsors found out. They dropped him. Now he owes more than we can cover. We had to sell the house." My chest tightened. The house. My childhood home. The one I had poured my money into. Gone. I stayed silent, gripping the phone. Mom's voice cracked. "We need your help, Hannah. Money. Maybe a place to stay." Before I could respond, Denise's voice cut in. "Hannah, please. Shane's a mess. We're family. You're doing so well now. Can't you help us?" Family. The word burned. Where was family when they shoved me into the shed? When Dad told me to leave my own home? I took a deep breath. "You don't get to call me family now," I said. "You made your choices. Shane made his. I'm not cleaning up this mess." There was a long silence. Mom tried to speak, but I cut her off. "I've supported this family for years. I'm done." I hung up, my hands shaking but my resolve clear. They had chosen Shane. And now, they could live with the fallout. Corey and Vance listened as I replayed the voicemail for them. Vance leaned back in his chair, shaking his head. "They still think you're their safety net." Corey's eyes were steady. "You did the right thing." Later, word spread through a mutual friend. Shane's debts weren't just bad. They were massive, tens of thousands. The house was gone. His streaming career in ruins. Denise scrambling for work. My parents drowning in the mess they'd defended for years. I felt a flicker of pity, but it faded fast. This was the life they'd chosen. The gamble they'd made on Shane. And for the first time I realized I wasn't the one who lost everything. They were. But the real showdown wasn't over yet. Because sooner or later, my family would come face to face with the choice they'd made. And with me. It didn't take long before they showed up. One evening, there was a knock at my apartment door. When I opened it, my parents stood there. Behind them, Denise hovered, arms crossed, eyes red from crying. "Hannah," Mom whispered, "we need to talk." I stepped aside, letting them in. But my guard was high. Corey and Vance sat in the living room with me, silent witnesses. Dad spoke first, his voice tight. "You've made your point, but Shane is drowning. We can't fix this alone. You're the only one who can help." I laughed bitterly. "Help? You mean bail him out again? Like always." Mom's eyes filled with tears. "We lost the house. We're staying with friends. We have nowhere else to go." Denise jumped in, her tone sharp even through desperation. "You've got this fancy new apartment. You're making money hand over fist. You can afford to help us. Why are you being so cruel?" Cruel. That word lit a fire in me. I stood tall, my voice steady. "Cruel? You took my room. You shoved me into a shed. Dad told me to get out of the house or sleep in the dirt. And now you want to lecture me on family?" The room went still. Mom sobbed softly. Dad's jaw clenched. "You're being selfish, Hannah. After everything we've done for you." "Done for me?" I cut him off. "You mean ignoring me? Calling me stingy? Watching Shane bleed me dry? If that's your definition of family, then I don't want it." Denise snapped. "You don't understand the pressure Shane was under. Those sponsors?" I turned on her. "No, you don't understand. Pressure is paying bills for everyone. Getting nothing back. Pressure is building a life on your own. While your brother spends every dollar chasing a dream. Don't stand here and tell me I don't understand." For once, Denise went silent. Dad's face flushed. "Is this what you've become? Cold? Ungrateful?" I stepped closer, my voice sharp as glass. "No, this is what I should have been all along. Strong. Independent. Done being your scapegoat." Mom reached for my arm, pleading. "Hannah, please, just this once, help us." I shook my head. I helped for years. And every time it destroyed me a little more. This time I'm choosing me. Denise's voice cracked. "If you walk away now, you'll regret it. Families always come back together." I looked her dead in the eyes. "Maybe yours do. Mine doesn't." The silence was suffocating. Corey finally spoke. his voice calm but firm. "You all need to leave, now." Dad glared, but he knew he'd lost. They shuffled toward the door, defeated. Mom's sobs echoed in the hallway. The door closed behind them. I stood there, heart racing, but lighter than I had in years. For once I hadn't caved. For once the power was mine. But what came after their downfall? That was the moment I truly understood what freedom meant. After they left, the apartment felt quiet. Not empty, peaceful. For the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for the next demand. I wasn't bracing for the next guilt trip. I could finally breathe. News traveled fast. Through a mutual friend, I heard the details. Shane's debts were worse than I imagined. Tens of thousands gone in online bets. His sponsors had cut ties. His reputation was ruined. Denise scrambled for work. My parents drifted from couch to couch, trying to pick up the pieces. A part of me felt pity, but only for a moment. Because every choice they made had led them here. Every sacrifice they demanded had been taken from me. And when I finally said no, they called me cruel. But I wasn't cruel. I was free. I poured my energy into my work, into building something no one could take from me. My content grew. My contracts multiplied. Fans left messages saying my story gave them courage. It reminded me why I started in the first place. To create, to inspire, to stand on my own. Corey and Vance never let me forget my worth. They weren't just friends. They were proof that family isn't always blood. Sometimes, it's the people who show up, the ones who believe in you when no one else does. One evening, we sat in my apartment, the city lights glowing outside the window. Corey raised his glass. "To freedom," he said. Vance grinned. "To finally choosing yourself." I smiled, the weight in my chest lighter than ever. They were right. This wasn't just about walking away. It was about walking into the life I deserved. If you've ever had to choose yourself over family, you know how hard it is. But you also know the strength it takes, and the peace that comes after. Have you ever faced a choice like that? Tell me in the comments, because you're not alone. And if my story resonates with you, hit subscribe. There are more stories to tell. Stories about betrayal, survival, and the power of taking your life back.